This is the beginning of a story about men. Incredible men that carve cities and cultures out of the awesome forests all over the world. The struggle, man against the forest. An enduring battle. The men that have waged the battle over time have won. They have trekked on bright, sunlit days into forests, dark, dense, lush, and quiet. So quiet, the footsteps are an intrusion, tolerated only by trees who know and feel their role in the emergence of man.
I remember when I was 17, one summer I was pretty hard up for money, so I decided to go and hit Dad and Bob up for a job. And so I went out there and shoved a bunch of tools in my hand and stuck me right out there. And so I went to work, and I still remember the first tree I bucked. It's a little old hemlock hole. Wasn't much to it, about 12, 14 inches through, and Dad fell it, and he says, okay, now go buck it. And I forget what length it was, and I'd watched him first, and he went out there and stood right on the end of the log, and just zipped off the top, so I thought, looked pretty easy. So I went out there and zipped. I got hung up just tighter than Dick's hat band. That was the first day I went to work anyway. Not everybody can just come out here and do this kind of work, and you just don't catch on just overnight. And it was quite a challenge to me, and I knew Dad was good and Bob was good, and they had super good reputations, and so I thought, oh shoot, I'll just give it a try, and that's all I can do. And so I just decided to keep on going. It really is more of a prestigious work. It's not to get out here and fall and buck this stuff, you can't be no dummy. You've got to have your head about you. There's a lot more to this than what a guy thinks.
The same men have waged the battle and, at times, have lost.
You get right down to it, every tree is a potential killer. Every tree you fall, even when you're bucking, a lot of guys been hurt bad bucking. One thing that did make Bob a safe worker, we were cutting down by the Nasyka Bridge just above the Cowlitz River, and one of the guys got killed on the job, and on a different outfit that was working next to us. And the guy, his partner, come running up to me, and he says, I think something's happened. I think my partner might be dead. He was falling maple, and so he says, will you guys go down and check? And he says, I looked at a distance, says, I'm scared to go any closer. Well, we went down there, and that poor man had been hit in the head with a maple about 12 inches in diameter, and it was a chunk, actually, what hit him.
In these woods, the great trees fall. Harvested to serve man today, and replanted to serve man tomorrow.
It took a long time to grow these trees, and we can come out here and it takes 15 minutes or 20 minutes to fall that tree, which was very close to 800 years old. 20 minutes against 800 years. In 20 minutes we can through sloppy workmanship, a guy can lose a third of the scale in that tree. That's not really fair, And then when this tree is gone, of course, they'll come in here and plant all new trees. And in this particular area, they'll probably plant 7 to 8 trees for every tree that's growing. And like I told you yesterday, we'll admit it looks like heck. It looks terrible. When they get through logging this, it looks terrible. But then so does that wheat field over there in eastern Washington after they take off the wheat. You know. But the only difference is, look at the size of the wheat compared to the size of these trees and the time that it takes to grow each one.
Once you cut down one of these trees like this, there's never going to be another one like it again. Well, that's probably true for in this area, but the heck of it is there, you can always grow more. And people don't stop to realize that these trees here, almost all of these here, are overripe and probably should have been cut about, 10 years ago.
In these woods, a whisper of a wind brings a threat of death. Carelessness brings a promise.
You're working on this tall timber, you know, if the winds are blowing at you or sideways or something, you know, you really have to compensate for it or else give up. Because it'll blow your tree sometimes 20 or 30 feet out of lead.
In these woods with these men, quiet confidence exists with outspoken pride.
When you have time, you always want to get your saw around on the other side and square up that stump, or the log, the butt, because that's the part of your workmanship that goes out on the truck. People can look at that, or another timber faller will look at it and say, well, that guy must have known what he was doing, or else, man, what a butcher. And too many of us put ourselves in the position of judging everybody as a butcher.
See, on that one over there, that's 8 feet. That big one over there.
Yeah.
And it leaned over real hard. And then when we started cutting it up, the tree was twisting off the stump. And we were scared it'd break over and go clear through the middle of our strip over this way.
Yeah.
So we came back here, and that's when we lined up those other 2 trees to try and hit it at an angle to keep it in lead. Anybody that knows timber, how to fall timber, or anything, they can go by and look and see what we tried to do anyway. Even if it didn't accomplish what we were trying to get it over far enough, they can see we tried. Now, you hate to see a nice 8-foot log like that, you know, all slabbed up or something from a poor bucking job or missing your cut that far, you know. It looks kind of bad, like somebody didn't, well, like I say, take pride in their work and get down on the other side and come clear underneath, you know. Then you get back up on top and work your way back around and meet your cut. And that's what we just try to do, is just get them off as straight as we can so they look good.
Now here you got, every tree's a little different.
Every cut.
Right. That's the thing I like about it.
There is a great story to tell of the forest and the men who have lived and worked among the trees, about their lives, their work, their feelings, their fears, the pains and glories, the tragedies, the triumphs. Of all the tales told, from the taming of the West to the conquest of space, this one remains untold, except for the small beginning.